Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I am your host, Ty Christensen. Why did you say that name? I know it's not in this movie, but I had to say it. Okay, Jordan Christensen is also on the pod. I'm Batman. We've got Grant Mickle.
I am vengeance.
Wrong movie.
I know.
So far, none of us have quoted this movie. And we've got Cameron Mickle.
You think she'd ever go for a younger guy? She's 5,000 years old, Barry. Every guy's a younger guy.
Today we are discussing Zack Snyder's Justice League, the director's cut. 4 hours and 2 minutes long. Holy cow. Specifically released on HBO Max. This movie came out in 2021. I think 2019 was the first cut of this with Joss Whedon. Is that right?
Pretty sure it was 2018 or no, I think it's 2017. If I'm
2017. I thought that was when Batman vs Superman came out. Maybe that was earlier.
No, earlier.
Which is sad because I can't distinguish the movie.
I'm pretty sure it was 2016.
I can't even distinguish, I can distinguish Man of Steel, and that's pretty much it.
No, I actually liked. I know maybe sounds bad, and I lose a lot of credibility, but I enjoyed Batman v Superman because everybody said it was so bad. So when I went and saw it at the Dollar Theater, I'm like, it actually wasn't that bad. I enjoyed it.
Again, last episode we just had Drew on when he did
Solid
Nacho Libre. He said he wants more original movies, and that's what it made me think of. I'm like, I watched the 10 Cloverfield Lane, where I'm like, this is a greater drama than all of this amalgamation going on. Why did you say that name? I was still very confused, to be honest. When I left the theater, it made me feel like when I watched Star Wars: The Last Jedi, where I was like, I don't know how I feel. I feel weird. I feel like I'm missing something, and it wasn't a good feeling. But it's funny that you say that, Jordan, because the movie is not as bad, I think. Like people had gripes about Jesse Eisenberg, actor, being Lex Luthor, not being bald. And I'm like, I don't care what he looks like. Like, I have very minimal gripes, but people, whatever. You can do whatever you want. You can complain about whatever you want. It just makes me laugh when people are, like, fixated on those kinds of things, where I'm like, and that's why in this movie, when he shows up bald, he looks weird. He just does. Okay, we're going to talk about this movie. What was it like watching this movie for the first time and rewatching it for the podcast? And also, did you watch the original cut by Joss Whedon, or did you only seen this version like myself? Let's start with you, Jordan. What was it like watching this movie for the first time and rewatching it for the podcast?
I didn't know you didn't watch the Joss Whedon cut. Yeah, I saw the Joss
Did not see the 2-hour version, no.
I watched the Joss
Whedon
Whedon cut 2-hour version with Cameron, and I think we started fast forwarding because we were just getting so bored, and there were some moments that we laughed hysterically, like when you saw that tied up shot that they cut from this version. They actually, all the parts that made us laugh and like we thought were so stupid, they cut. And one of them was
Bring back the mustache.
Yeah, they did a up close tight shot of Superman, and it's like his face, and you can clearly see it's been CGI'd out his mustache. Like it looks horrendous.
So it basically they had to do reshoots, and they didn't have he was under contract to keep his beard for the other movie he was doing, right? Mission Impossible or something like that. So he couldn't shave. Yeah.
Well, so and a lot of those reshoots were Joss Whedon, because he just wanted the movie to be a bit different. Right?
Well, and okay, so a little bit of, I just wanted to give you guys background. Maybe you're not aware of it. Maybe you are. So Zack Snyder, while making Justice League, his daughter had killed herself. And so Zack Snyder just left. And obviously, you should be allowed to leave the set of Justice League, and attended to a personal matter. And
Joss Whedon did the first Avengers, so I'm sure
they're brought in Joss Whedon, and they're like, Joss Whedon, work your magic. You know how to do this. And I, he had a vision. But here's the thing. It's like, you already had Zack Snyder, who was painting a canvas, and then you have him step away, and then it's like, finish the painting, or maybe redo. And he's like, well, I wouldn't have painted that, And so he goes in and, like, tinkers with it. And so, again, I don't know how much to hate on Joss Whedon.
And maybe Disney paid him like a crap ton of... Maybe Disney paid him a crap ton of money to screw it up. They're like, yeah, just totally F this movie over.
Yeah, no compete. Yeah,
they're like, do some really nasty, sexist jokes in it, too. Because, Ty, in the Joss Whedon cut, there's a few moments that I'm like, what the crap did they put this in for? Like, they had this, like, low shot of Wonder Woman's butt, and like Batman coming out of the airplane, and it's a really long take, and it's really uncomfortable. And then they also have Flash falling on top of her, and it's just really inappropriate. It's just weird. Yeah.
Nice. Well, let's see. That's when I'm always confused because I'm never sure about who like was that the studio producers are like, hey, come on, we need more sexual innuendo, or it was like Zack Snyder that's like, I want a dark brooding and I want the slow mo shot, or it was Joss Whedon like, oh, make a funny crack here and then let's move on, wrap it up. Now here's the thing. The second thing that's going on right now, everyone's hating on Joss Whedon because apparently everyone that's worked with him has complained that he's a big on set, which is weird because, again, you're the director. It's your job. It's kind of weird when I hear this stuff now because I always take it with a grain of salt because I'm like, okay, that's their side of the story. Like, he is the director, and when he says action, like, do what he said, right? And it's like, oh, he's so bossy. It's like, he's the fetching director. I don't know what you expect.
I know.
Again,
Ty's worked with me, and you know how mean I get on set.
Yeah, I'm like, Jordan can be a big. I remember
It's
listening
true.
to I remember listening to Bruce Campbell talk about when Sam Raimi would be like, do this thing, and then Bruce Campbell was like, like after he got like the bucket poured on his head of all that blood,
Yeah.
he nearly got injured and nearly drowned, and he's like, and he just left the set, and you're all like, oh, come on, don't be like that. It's like the actor's totally within his right to be like, oh, fudge this, I'm not doing this. You're trying to kill me on set to make me a movie star, and this movie will be seen by nobody. Like, so but again, I always take it with a grain of salt. Like the Tom Cruise freak out, you have Christian Bale freak out. There's always this weird dynamic
Eli
where like
Roth-
powerful actors and powerful directors are always like under scrutiny because they're like, oh, are they taking it too far? But it's like, look at the days of Stanley Kubrick. Like the guy freaking literally emotionally abused Shelley Duvall from The Shining, like where her hair was literally falling out of her head, and he was yelling at her, and he would be mean to people. He locked the producers in a car. Hey, it's getting hot in here. At least crack a window, huh? Like, poor guys.
Eli Roth, like he would use Sam Raimi all the time to his actors when they would complain. He's like, just think about what they went through in Evil Dead and look how famous it is. So they stopped complaining after that because everybody thinks
like,
about fame. They're like,
he'll be like, you'll be famous, and then now eat that piece of shit. And it's like, jeez, I don't want to be famous anymore. Eat it. Yeah. So anyway, there's my little rant. There's the whole history about it. But anyway, so I've never seen the Joss Whedon. Watched this for the first time over the last 4 or 5 days. I got it. I did it. I watched 4 hours and 2 minutes of A Justice League. And
it was definitely really long, yeah.
Pretty darn okay. So we're going to get into it. Grant, what was it like watching this movie for the first time and rewatching it for the podcast?
So for me, I never saw the original. And so, because I'd heard so many horrible things about it, and so I was like, yeah, I'm not going to waste 2 hours of my life. And
but 4. Hold my beer.
but Grant.
Well, yeah. So, but like, because I just heard so many better things about Snyder Cut that I was like, okay, like, I think that would be fun. And
it was a meme, like it's a joke. Like, release the Snyder Cut is always the thing, right? They're like, it would have been a much better film.
Yeah. And so, we had actually planned to watch it as an apartment, and then we all got together, and then they're like, oh, it hasn't been released yet. And we're like, oh, okay. So we waited another couple of days, and then we watched it. And so, like,
everybody got together. You had the popcorn popped. All right, let's get watching. Oh, it doesn't come out yet.
Yeah, and they're like,
who
it doesn't come out
was
today.
responsible
Like,
for scheduling this?
So yeah, so that was funny. And then, so I really enjoyed it though. I was pleasantly surprised. Like, I kind of had very, very low expectations, so I really enjoyed the movie as an audience. So.
How about that?
Yeah. Hey, he set the bar low.
Yeah.
Set it low enough to where I was like, yeah, it can't be a big steaming pile of shiz. It can be.
But I thought it was great storytelling, but obviously, 4 hours you can tell any good story. So.
Yeah, they should have had it to about 2 hours. Maybe a different director too. You sound like an executive producer, Grant. All right. Cameron, what was it like watching this movie for the first time and rewatching it for the podcast?
Okay, well, I mean, the DC universe is kind of one of my guilty pleasures. I saw the original movie with Jordan, was very disappointed. I've grew up watching all of the Justice League series, TV series, and then also the Justice League Unlimited series.
Real quick, I want to quote this because Cameron, you'll know it. Won't protect you any longer.
And then also
freaking Martian Manhunter, dude, in that episode, I can't remember, it was Zod or whatever, the gladiators. Oh no, that was the one where the Hawkmen come in and invade planet Earth.
Yeah, that's the
Martian Manhunter, baby.
Yeah, I think it's like season 2.
Yeah.
But
so freaking good.
And then I also
there's an emotional weight there too. I'm just saying, good cartoon. So anyway, I had to throw that out. That was a good cartoon.
I also watched Young Justice, which is also it's like a Justice League, except all their sidekicks are a Justice League, which is kind of cool. It like they deal with smaller crimes. So I love the whole DC universe, and I've played the games like Injustice in 1 and Injustice
pushing
2.
nannies down the staircase and things like that. Elder abuse.
And so then, so I actually watched this, the Snyder Cut twice actually within 24 hours. So a third.
There's not even enough minutes in a day, Cameron. How's that possible?
Yeah, so I watched it from. The first time I watched it from 1 to 4 or 1 to 5, and then I watched it that night with Grant and my roommates.
You like this movie, Cameron?
This movie's watching it. I don't know. I really enjoyed it both times. I really enjoyed it. For me, it's a perfect like 7.5. It's just the thing I love about it is just like it makes me excited for the DC universe, which that's the most impressive thing I think that could have come out of this movie is to like. After watching it, I was like, I mean, I'd be interested to see like a Deathstroke movie or like a Martian Manhunter movie.
Yeah.
And, like it wasn't in and of itself an amazing movie, but like the fact that it made me excited to watch another DC movie, which I had just like hated anything DC from Suicide Squad.
What you're
Justice
telling
League,
me
Batman
is
vs.
this was an effective 4-hour trailer that got you excited to see more movies and pay more money into. Got it. Okay.
Essentially, yeah.
He's like, I didn't appreciate it as a movie, but it did make me excited to go see another movie that's not this movie.
No, but they did a good job.
I'm teasing you, Karen. I know, I'm teasing you.
It's definitely not anything deep or thoughtful, but it's good entertainment.
I thought it was super deep, you know? Like, I think Zack Snyder takes himself super duper seriously. Like, getting coffee. It's like 5 minutes of this movie, you know? Walking in the rain. Giving coffee to the one cop that we're going to see later. Like, Lois Lane getting coffee was so dramatic.
I thought you could have done without a lot of the Lois Lane side story. I'm sorry. I've never been a big fan of Lois Lane, just in general.
Amy Adams or her character, like what?
Both. I mean, Amy Adams is a great actress, but I always think they focus way too much on her. I know they were trying to set up the whole she's the bigger picture because they're trying to set up the Flashpoint Paradox universe.
Isn't that his only weakness aside from actual kryptonite?
Yes. They're trying to set up an alternate reality of like that's
what his
nightmare was.
Okay, so you're gonna have to correct me if I'm wrong. So in this movie, do we actually see the Flash go back in time and do the warning of Bruce Wayne in the time loop or not?
No, you don't see it.
Okay, that didn't happen. Right, because I was like, what? Because he said Lois is key, and then Batman was like, I have a foreboding thing about this, right? And at the end of the movie, we watch.
He just plays it off in this one, I think,
if you guys
as
haven't seen
dreams.
this movie, sorry, what's that, Cameron?
I think he just plays it off in this one as like having dreams or nightmares.
Right, but I know that's what really upset me too, that it was a dream. Because again, whatever, because whether it was a vision or not. In that vision, a lot of sepia and sunlight basking across the Jared Leto's face as the Joker.
Yeah,
okay,
sorry, when we weren't going to do the the other movie with Jared Leto, Little Things, I'm like, well, at least I got to see Jared Leto in this movie. Oh, yeah.
At least he's in every movie that we're going to review. Guys, I got to say, what are your thoughts about Jared Leto as Joker?
Boo.
Boo.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm okay with them. Actually, he was my favorite part about Suicide Squad. You know, I mean, that's a horrible movie.
That's not very hard when literally the only thing that was like you have a stellar cast and the worst plot line of all time that has ever existed in the history of mankind, dude.
But I still thought he was the best part of that.
I will never forget the Enchantress doing the dance, bringing the pillar. That will never not make me laugh. Like people do some memes where the Enchantress is like contorting. It makes me laugh every time. Just thinking about it makes me laugh.
See, okay,
and
but
it's not a joke. I can tell you guys. I'm explaining it. It's not funny.
The problem with Joker is that after Heath Ledger, it's just all downhill from there. So it's like
we have great. What about Joaquin
Phoenix? Joaquin Phoenix is, I think, on the same level, but in a different category.
Yes.
He's a different Joker.
And so to be fair to you, Grant, you're right. How can anyone live up? I don't mind if they take their own liberties, but to me, it's like, it's so hollow and empty. Like, Jared Leto has done nothing to impress me. I don't know. Maybe that's not even the right word to say.
Yeah,
like
it's not
he
like I took his own thing, but then just like, it was just like,
it just seems like Yeah, it's like I've seen a lot of cartoon renditions of him, right? Some voiced by Mark Hamill, some of them not, and I'm like, I always like different interpretations. Like if I had to name the least favorite Joker, unfortunately, I have to say it's Jared Leto because I can't think of a worse Joker.
Okay,
Yeah.
I want to talk
Maybe Adam West and that Joker that has the mustache that's painted over. Look it up, Adam West. It's creepy, dude. That Joker. But he's still charismatic enough and always laughing.
Literally, he's in this movie for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, thank you, Ty.
To be fair, no, but I'm still going off of Suicide Squad and everything we know about Jared Leto. I mean, like that whole controversy where Jared Leto.
I know.
Was,
I
he's
just don't understand why
his co-stars.
why
He's
we're
like,
talking so
I'm
much
just
about
getting
Jared
into
Leto.
my character. It's
Ty's
like I'm
clearly
Ledger locked
fighting
himself
his
in an
love.
apartment.
It's for Jared Leto.
I have unrequited love. Yes, I'm actually closet. I'm Jared Leto sexual. It's
Well,
it's
Ty,
a real thing.
I was the same way with Nick Cage. I used to hate him, but now I love the guy.
maybe this is my path. Like it's like the stages of like denial of love, right? Of like your character.
That's how Grant is
first
with
it's
Russell Crowe,
denial,
too.
it's rage, and then it's grief, and
I
then
don't
it's
know what you
acceptance, and then it's healing. And
You'll get there.
The uneducated man that he
Okay.
is doesn't like Russell Crowe.
I don't like him. I don't know why.
Grant, I will
Hasn't
say,
seen Gladiator.
Les Mis
Yes,
makes
I
me
know,
so
I
sad.
get it.
Les Mis, every time he jumps and throws himself off that terrace and like lands on the dam and breaks his hip, I laugh, and it's so sad. Like I should be really sad at feeling something. I laugh every time. It will never not be funny.
Oh, that's funny.
I can't go on any longer. And he like jumps and he just smacks the side. Like you don't get a pull away. It's not necessarily a close up, but it is kind of a close up. You just see him smack the water in the side and break his hip, and he's dead. It's
I just think Russell Crowe has
Oh.
to have a very specific role for me to enjoy him. Like
okay, you
great
have not seen
unhinged.
Gladiator though. Watch the
I
Gladiator.
know. I need. Yeah, I'll
Because
watch
that's literally all I like him from, and
Yeah.
everything I like him from.
All right,
is
how
Gladiator.
about we actually talk about Justice League?
Yeah, we really should,
Freaking
guys.
nerds.
This movie's 4 hours long, so there's a lot to talk
So
about.
we're gonna do a 4-hour podcast.
Let's do a 4-hour podcast.
Surprise.
4-hour podcast. Surprise. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's do our normal thing, and then I have a lot of questions and things I wrote down. So let's get into two of our favorite things from this film. Let's start with you, Cameron.
Oh snap! I think the best thing about this movie does is which was originally taken out of the theatrical cut is Cyborg's story, because you kind of understand him and like where he's coming from. I think they did his setup and Flash's setup really well,
I do like Cyborg.
because you understand where he's coming from.
And Flash, I love
Also,
Flash.
yeah, you understand kind of why he like is the way that he is, because they used the mother box to create him, and that's why he is so powerful. But at the same time, you understand why he feels disconnected from humanity, even though he's part human.
Don't want to get into nitpicks. Mother box. Okay, whatever. Keep going.
No, that I
I
don't.
don't know why I don't like him.
Okay,
The mother box. Oh, the mother box. I can smell it on you.
What is meaningful to us to be played Injustice?
yeah. In the video game Injustice, it's actually like your form of currency. So that's why I wasn't surprised at all when they were using them in this.
Well, if they're currency, why were they so monumental in this? Whatever. Doesn't matter.
And then my second favorite thing in this movie is I just love Flash. Every scene that he's in is just which is actually kind of funny, because originally when they casted what's his name from Perks of Being a Wallflower for Ezra Miller, is that his name? Anyone gonna help me out with that?
No, just
In what movie?
it's all good.
Oh, Flash, the actor that plays Flash?
Yes.
Ezra Miller, yep.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry.
So when originally when they casted Ezra Miller for Flash, I was actually kind of disappointed, because I was like, oh man, no, that's not like, I don't know, he just have the typical look of Flash, and I was just like, I don't know, it's gonna be interesting.
What is the typical look of Flash? Blonde hair, blue eyes, gorgeous mane.
What? No.
Yeah, Cameron, you Hitler?
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, Aryan, preferably pure blood, not mud blood.
Yeah, you filthy mudbud.
You feel the mud blood.
Oh.
Draco Malfoy is Flash.
No, but this is my favorite. I think my favorite depiction of the Speed Force ever put on screen, because I think the Speed Force is kind of a hard thing to tackle. It's like the power of Flash, whatever, and what he travels through in order to go so fast. Because that's one thing I've always had a pet peeve, is when like the Flash runs really fast and just like grabs somebody, and just like regularly, I'm like, dude, he's moving at like such a fast speed. If he touched someone like that, his hand's gonna go through them. And so that's what I love in the scene where he like is helping Iris West from the car
You've
crash.
seen The Boys, right? Season 1.
Yeah, oh, A-Train. Yeah, just blowing through people.
Just blow. I think of that all the time, Cameron. I really do.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
right.
And so that's the thing I really enjoyed is that you can see him. He's like, after he grabs the hot dogs, he's like lightly touching Iris in order to like help her spin and like help her to safety. Because like that's what he would have to do moving so fast. And also like rips through his shoes. And the scene when he touches the freaking glass and it just like liquefies. It's so dope.
It was really cool. And I really like that you said the shoe. Well, no, sorry, not the shoes. What was I gonna say?
The hot dogs.
Backing up. What did you say? The
hot dogs spinning her.
It was just right before that too. I had the thought, but it left me now. No worries. Keep going.
But yeah, just the visuals overall in this movie. I mean, that's Zack Snyder for you. Like his visuals are just insane, just ridiculously cool.
For sure, the guy does know visuals. I give him that, but it yeah.
Sorry, and just another quick thing is I just really like how they gave a little bit more backstory to Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf, is that the Antler Man?
Yeah, he's the giant protagonist. I like it how they gave the backstory because you see
Wait,
he's trying
protagonist, antagonist, right?
Antagonist, yeah. Who's trying to receive the approval of Darkseid, so he just wants to go back to like essentially wants to be accepted back.
I love his voice. I'm sorry, it'll never not make me laugh. My word.
Well, and they actually gave him backstory. Like, I love that the guy demanded, what was it, 10,000 worlds or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, he still was indebted like 500,000 or
10,000. He said 10. He's like, you still owe Darkseid 10,000 worlds.
50,000.
I'm like,
I
that's
think it
gonna
was
be
like
a fat
50,000.
I think it was
six.
like 50.
No,
Yeah, I
I'm
think he
pretty
said
sure it's
50 or
10,000.
It was a lot. I just remember thinking it was
Cameron,
a
how much
lot.
you want to bet?
I bet you $5, dude.
$5? I bet it's more than 10,000. I'm gonna look it up now. Oh, there is the quote that it's 5,000 years old, right? But let me see.
Anyways, while you guys are looking that up, I just wanted to say my two favorite things is definitely the Flash. I know Cameron kind of already mentioned him, but I love the Flash in this because the other version, like they cut all his scenes, and so he had like barely any backstory. So every time he said a joke, it never landed. But now, when he says the jokes, I just was eating it up, and everything he said, I loved.
Ty, you're right. It's 50,000.
That's what I thought.
Yes! You owe me $10, Cameron. You heard it here on the podcast. Hold Cameron liable.
I said $5.
I think I'll bet you $10. You said $5.
Let's rewind the clock. Wait, Ty, run so fast you'll rewind
I'll take
time.
my $5. Yeah. Oh, Cameron, don't make that bet. I don't know. So real quick, definitely will take my $5, Cameron. You can buy me some candy or something like that. Let's get into Grant. What are your two favorite things before I get to me and Jordan?
I think
Deep.
very deep. Hold on,
I
had
think
something.
I will spend the next 4 hours and 2 minutes thinking about this. Pat the runtime, Grant, of the podcast. Very good.
One thing I really, really liked is that each character was like uniquely helpful, and they each had like a vital role that was actually helpful. Because like
You mean they all didn't have like amazing super strength and they could all punch aliens through walls
Yeah,
and
exactly.
fly around?
And-
That's one thing I will give to you, Grant. The inconsistency in the Marvel universe is one of my biggest pet peeves. Is watching aliens that can like throw Thor through buildings and then they like fight hand to hand with Scarlett Johansson and Arrow.
Yeah.
Or not Arrow, I always call him that, Hawkeye. And I'm like, yep.
yeah, that's true.
So that's just one of my pet peeves. I'm just telling you
Yeah.
guys, catch it. Once you see it, once I mention it, you'll never forget that I said that. So
Yeah, so I really liked how each character like played a good role in like accomplishing their task to like separate the mother boxes and stuff. And my second favorite thing was like I really enjoyed Steppenwolf as a villain. Like, and it's funny too because like the pitch meeting for the Snyder cut is like he's like, oh, in the old cut, you know, Steppenwolf didn't have any motivation. He just was pure evil and like wanted to rule the world. And he's like, but this one like gave him background. He's like, oh, I want to redeem myself, which is like you kind of like understand where he's coming from. But then he's like, but yeah, Darkseid's just kind of pure evil and wants to rule the galaxy.
yeah, but see that's always okay because he's not the protagonist,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Because
Yeah,
it's like
he's not the main
Insidious,
focus
right?
right
Like
now.
you have
Yeah.
either Emperor Palpatine, no one cares because as long as you have Darth Vader, that's the protagonist to Luke,
exactly.
right? I mean that. So you're right. There is
Antagonist, yeah.
overall presence of evil, but it's not regimented to your protagonist and
it's,
antagonist.
And it's funny because like I'm looking at old pictures of like what he used to look like, and he like kind of looks like a dweeb.
Yeah, he's so much cooler now.
Yeah, so like I thought he looked really dope in the new one. So like I didn't have any like reference of before, but I really enjoyed him as a villain, and he was just like super cool.
See, and again,
talk about a women's rights video. Is that freaking first scene when he's on Themyscira and just fighting all the Amazons,
smashing all the women, dude. I thought the same thing. I was like, one man taking down all the women. I was like, is this an allegory for transgender people in sports or something? Just smashing all their records and smashing these poor women, dude. I was like,
and I just loved how
we don't care about women anymore. When did that happen? Jeez.
Yeah. I loved how like they showed he was so powerful, and then because it made sense that like Superman was just super OP, so I'm glad that they waited to bring him in so that he could like he didn't have to hold back, you know, because like you said, it like otherwise it'd have to be inconsistent, and like Superman would like have to like not use his powers as much or something to like, you know, keep him alive as long. So
or you just have kryptonite and then you can make him
impressed.
Not impressed.
What,
yeah,
Superman?
not impressed.
No,
yeah,
what
he lets the axe hit him. The axe hits him, and he's like, not impressed. I was like, what?
I love that. And then he freezes the axe and
Yeah, that was cool, but the not impressed part, I didn't get that. I was like, is that the line that Superman would deliver? I don't know. What do I know about any Kryptonian, right? Very uneducated, I guess you could say.
I mean, he is from
impressed?
Kansas, so
He probably was like, I'd have to read the script first. Okay, so real quick, Grant, did you share your two things then?
Yeah, those are my two favorite.
Okay, Jordan, let's go you. What are your two favorite things?
Well, I've already said Flash. I guess the second thing would be Zack Snyder. I am obsessed with anything he makes. I mean, obviously, I even like 300. I don't love it as much as I did in high school.
Dawn of the Dead is your favorite movie of all time.
Dawn of the Dead.
Inexplicably so.
It's amazing. Watchmen, so fetching good.
Watchmen's
and I even like Batman v Superman. I know I'll probably be hated for that, but I
you
love
like
it.
300?
I said I like it, but I don't love it like I did in high school.
Yeah. When you're in high school, you're just like, whoa, ah! It's amazing. It is funny. I can't believe I fell asleep watching 300. I was so excited to see it.
And did you know that Zack Snyder actually, he's, I don't know if, maybe he's watched it now, but like while making the film, he's like probably to this day still never seen the original cut because his wife and then also his friend, Christopher Nolan, told him not to watch it because it would just disappoint him.
Yeah.
That was a smart move because then he could make the cut however he wanted, you know, because I feel like if after watching it, or I'm sure somebody had to tell him something about it though.
Oh, for sure.
You can't escape it. Like everyone knew Rotten Tomatoes score and everything. I mean, it was like 40 something, the 44% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics, and only like 74 from audience, which is actually pretty surprising. That again, you had critics and audiences so widely split, kind of like Batman versus Superman. But the thing is, it's like it doesn't take a lot to impress people that want to go see a superhero film. It's not like you walk in and you're like, well, I expect to be blown away by Ben Affleck's portrayal of Batman, or like I want to see a deep character study. It's like, this is a blockbuster movie. Like, it's silly. These are two men wearing tights that are parading around fighting each other.
Well, except
like,
Superman Ty. Remember when they reamped him, he lost his shirt.
yeah, he was completely shirtless for a lot of this movie, but which made me laugh a little bit. But just
no,
you know.
Okay, my favorite moment in this was definitely when Flash was running and all of a sudden Superman's eye spotted him.
Kind of creeped me out.
That freaks me out. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I'll say two of my favorite things. I really enjoyed watching the visuals this movie, and I always take it with a grain of salt because sometimes the visuals in Zack Snyder's films fail to capture any sort of emotion. They're very beautiful to look at, and that's why I've already mentioned my piece on this. The guys that cut trailers are like, Zack Snyder, keep them coming. Like, look at all these shots. We can sell this movie. It's got to be the easiest movie to sell. You're like, look at these amazing visuals. And then you watch it and you're like, oh, it's just part of a montage. Like, all these beautiful scenes don't actually carry any emotional weight. One of my favorite, I always reference, is when in Batman vs. Superman, when the lady's on the rooftop in a hurricane, like reaching out for Superman, and he like slowly descends on her. She's nobody. She's just some random person that she's. And it's such a cool shot. An iconic shot. It's so cool. But the movie, so this movie has a few of those where beautifully shot, but they almost carry no.
Well, it's
weight.
almost like he wants every one of his shots to look like an ET moment. You know, that one where he's flying over the moon.
Yes, and to be fair, they are beautifully shot, and if that's the biggest gripe, is like, oh, your shot, it's too beautiful and not enough emotional weight. The problem is only when it interferes, because after a while, like you watch 300 now, and it's like, this is like an hour and a half of slow-mo, and every single action and shot they're doing, they're fighting. It's like, it's a little too much. Like, you need to let the movie play out and breathe a little. But again, back when that movie came out, it grossed plenty of money, like, and it spawned a sequel and like comic books and everything, or it was a comic book or whatever. But so to his credit, like, if you're saying, oh, the movie's too beautiful, I'm not saying that the shots don't need to have, like, he needs to have fewer beautiful shots, but sometimes the problem they ran into in the DC universe is like they take themselves too seriously. Is my biggest gripe, right? Yes. They do. And the thing is, when you have moments of levity where Flash is trying to be genuinely funny, sometimes it falls flat because you're like, oh, you're trying to.
It fell so flat in the 2-hour cut. Like this one, the jokes actually.
Which is why I didn't actually see the original. I heard it was dumb, and I was like, why would I bother to go see this? Like, I have 8 other Marvel movies I'm behind on. I'll just watch one of those. And it's not like, oh, they're different. This one's dark and cool and edgy. And it's like, but it's not, though, you know? Like, I watched Batman vs. Superman. Not edgy at all. Like, it's still 2 men in spandex fighting. Like, I get it. I love superhero movies, so it's really funny to hear me rag on this. But anyway, so beautiful shots. Do love the beautiful shots. And to its credit, it's not too full of beautiful shots, even though there's millions of beautiful shots in this. And I would say, yeah, I think my other best thing is not knowing anything about the Justice League movie beforehand. That's my second favorite thing. I don't know what they changed. I haven't looked at anything. I heard the other movie was dumb. That's it. And now I watch this and I'm like, oh, it's great. And then I hear you guys saying like, well, the horned-headed guy, whatever his name is, evil guy, antagonist.
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf. I thought Steppenwolf was the guy that appeared to Lex Luthor at the end, but that's Ripshot. What's his name?
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke. Deathstroke.
Deathstroke's such a
Ripshot
baller,
is a
dude.
much crazier of a name as Deathstroke. Okay, Deathstroke, by the way, not a very menacing name. I'm sure if he put a gun to the back of my head and killed me now.
sick as
shit. He's probably the dopest like anti-hero in the freaking like.
I just don't know if I care for the name Deathstroke. Is all I'm saying.
Okay,
Like, it could have
to
been
be
like
fair,
Death
you
Blow
never
or
grew up with like the video games or like the
Yes, I get it. He's the coolest one. He's like Blade. He's like all the cool guys, right? Yeah, I
He's
get it.
also the antagonist in Teen Titans.
I'm just saying Deathstroke. I always
Slade
think of stroke
Wilson.
as like a light tickle, so it just made me laugh thinking of Deathstroke. I just think it could have been a cooler name.
I'm aware.
Deathstroke.
He's also in Teen Titans.
The stroke of death. I don't know why. Anyway, whatever. What do I know? See, like I said, rag on me because I don't know enough about it to where I'm like, oh, I'm very interested. By the way, you want to talk about, okay, let's get right into my pet peeves. One of my biggest pet peeves is that you introduced Deathstroke, a seemingly a total bad A character, and he's like meeting with Lex Luthor on his yacht, and he's like, let me give you a word. Bruce Wayne or whatever. He gives him Batman's identity, basically. Well, I'm pretty sure he gives him a secret identity too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, he's like, awesome. And then, like, in the epilogue, he's best friends with Batman in the very next scene, right? Is that Deathstroke still?
Oh,
Well, yeah, but that's an alternate reality. So,
Oh, okay.
So
So
that's
it's-
hinting at a thing called it's either Flashpoint. It's like most likely the Flashpoint paradox.
Okay, so are we to assume that there are two simultaneously going on then?
No, so that's like the
Or
Flashpoint.
is-
The Flashpoint paradox is like a movie about so the Flash's whole backstory is his dad was framed for his mother's murder by his arch nemesis in the future who travels back in time and murders his mother. And so in the Flashpoint paradox, he goes back, murders the Reverse Flash, and saves his mother.
But in doing that,
In doing that, like has like a lot of like what's it called, repercussions, and then
Butterfly effect.
yeah, and then I'm pretty sure one of the things from it, they do it in the Injustice, campaign in the first one. Joker tortures and murders Lois Lane, and so it turns Superman to like essentially like a mass murderer, and he becomes like pretty much god of the earth because he kills Joker, and Batman's like, you went too far, like you shouldn't have killed him, and he's like, well, he killed her and you should have stopped him. And so essentially Batman creates this whole regime against
Which I
Superman.
enjoy because that is a relationship where Batman refuses to kill Joker even though he's so reprehensible. You're like, Joker will never be cured. He will never be treated. He's chaos embodied, and he still won't, which, again, was actually one of my pet peeves, again, at the end of this movie where he's like, make no mistake, I'll fetch and kill you. He says it, like, and I'm like, again, is this Batman's dream, or is it a different universe where Batman breaks his own rules?
It's hard
because he kind of killed someone in Batman vs Superman when he threw that crate at that one bandit's head. I mean, it cracked his head open.
Yeah, it's
blood everywhere.
The reason Batman's so pissed in that moment is because he's talking about, he said you sent a boy to do a man's job, and he's talking about Boy Wonder, which is like the nickname of Robin,
right? Who
Joker
probably
killed
died.
him. Yeah.
And they're inferring all this stuff, right? Like they're like, oh, this shouldn't have happened. She died. I got what they were referencing. See, what's crazy is I don't even have to be a big genius to figure a lot of this stuff out. I liked a lot of that where it was like they didn't have to say it. One thing that, again, small thing, but keep going. I'm so interested in this.
No, yeah, and I think it's really cool because it sets up for the potential of Nightwing. So Nightwing's character is because after the first, if I'm remembering correctly, the first Robin dies. And so then Dick, which was either Dick Grayson, and then the second Robin or Nightwing is Dick Grayson. And so then because the Robin dies, Batman like doesn't want to have anyone close to him. So he has like another sidekick who's like the new Robin. And then Batman just like neglects the F out of him. Is like, I don't need you. My life get the fudge away. Like everyone who's close to me dies. So then he's like, well, I'm done being neglected and being his sidekick. So he eventually becomes his own superhero, becoming Nightwing.
Oh, Nightwing. I thought. But there was another animated series where Robin becomes like a ninja guy.
Red Hood.
Red Hood, yeah. See,
Yeah.
I remember that one. That was a good one too. Really dark.
He becomes like a serial killer. Yeah.
Joker's so good, dude. And all those dark animated series, he's so compelling. I actually haven't seen The Killing Joke, which is on my list, but I know all about it.
Yeah.
And the other one I was going to mention was
it's a very different
Batman
take
Beyond,
on his backstory.
What was the one? Was it Batman Beyond? Was that the one?
Yeah, Batman Beyond's like futuristic. Yeah.
Right, but
He still has the old Batman.
Yeah, but Joker kidnaps Robin, right, and makes him like a little Joker, right, and then comes back. Yeah, that was Batman Beyond.
I think Ben Affleck though has the perfect chin and body for Batman. I'm just saying, he looks like the original.
I do like the big beefy, but honestly, they don't do enough with it because compared to the aliens and everything else, he's just a mere mortal man. Mind you, real life actor Ben Affleck says, when Flash asks him in a moment of honesty, he's like, so what's your superpower? And he just, real life Ben Affleck forgets to act in that moment. He goes, I'm rich. Like, real life Ben Affleck, like, literally comes alive on screen. And I'm like, yeah, you're freaking raking in the dough. I get it. But again, to me, I do like a big beefy Batman. But for some reason, it just doesn't care. Like, it worked in Batman vs. Superman. But see, he didn't fight at all in this movie. Batman did not fight.
Well, so
that was a big sin for me.
In the, what's it called? In the Justice League TV series, it's pretty funny because like when they create the whole team and want to team up and stuff like that, Batman actually doesn't even really want to be a part of the team because it's funny, like they all put their hands in together. Yes. And they're like, are you going to be in? He's like, I'm not much of a people person. He's like, but when you guys need me, and you will, he's like, I'll find you. And so that's, I think, and that's what I kind of understand is like his whole job is to like help orchestrate it all. And he built like the space base to help them with invaders. But that's what I like is like Batman understands his role. He's like, I'm going to try to guide and lead them to do everything and set them up to do everything that they need to. And like I'll take down like the crucial parts, but like he leaves the heavy lifting to them because he like knows his role. Especially because the fact that he's like old and he's been doing, like Commissioner Gordon mentions that he's been being like Batman for 15 years. So
and are we feeling like there's like some sinisterness to Batman because when they were like revising, bringing back Superman, I thought Batman was having constant nightmares that Superman was going to kill him, but I saw the look in his face. He's like, yeah, bring him back. And it's just like he looked like I don't know. He just had this look in his eye, like, nah, we got to bring him back, which is crazy because I thought he was like, I don't know. I guess he found a greater evil in him.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing too. Is I think he kind of felt like he really misjudged Superman, just because like he saw him only as an alien threat, and then when he like actually got to know like. Talk to him and figure out like that he has like
they bonded over mothers.
Yeah, the thing that made him human and makes him human, and that's why they say like Lois Lane's so important is because like
Save Martha. Should we just become best friends?
It's because she can like Lois connects him to Earth because without Lois he's very dangerous and like a threat, and so that's why like, they say Lois is the key.
Is pretty horrifying thought. Not gonna lie, like. kind of reminds me of Homelander in a way, where it's like, just give him the kid and his family and just pretend everything's fine. Otherwise, we're all dead. We're all fetching dead. And so it's funny, that's supposed to be a parody, and now Justice League is kind of leaning into that, where they're like, if Lois Lane dies, the Justice League is done for, because Superman, well, you basically saw it. He's the one that carries the team when it comes to physical strength.
Yeah, and I love that they have the scene where they fight Superman to show we're glad he's on our side, because we can't even stop him.
And any minute now, he could turn against us.
Yeah.
Worship him. Fall to your knees. Worship this man. So, like I said, I'm going to keep getting into some nitpicks. I don't have too many, but one thing I will say is, like, when Superman was screaming and he was waking up the mother boxes, I was like, so why is he screaming? So am I to understand he was screaming when he was dying, when that was Abomination that was dying at the end of Superman vs. Batman,
that was another
right?
question I had. The little sound waves.
So Superman awakened the boxes. Did he mean to do that? Was that unintentional?
No, so I don't know, like, what's it called? So I know that the reason that, like, Steppenwolf and them started to come is because the Kryptonian on their planet died. And so that's why, so he was killed by Doomsday because holding the spear made him vulnerable and allowed him to kill Doomsday, but then also to be killed. And so that's what my understanding was, that, like, the only reason that they even came to Earth was just because it no longer had a Kryptonian protecting it.
That's what I figured too, actually. I figured because he was screaming, so I was like, why couldn't he have just shut his big fat mouth? But it doesn't matter. Like I said, if it was unintentional, I'm totally okay with that. But see, that's what I was thinking. I was like, why did it awaken it? I like the idea that it's like, oh, there's no longer a strong, beefy man that could threaten us is around, therefore we can... So...
Also, I had another... One of my gripes was that, okay, if you're terrorists who just want to set the world back, why the heck do you have a timer on your bomb if it's all just a ploy to delay the cops? Why don't you just blow it up immediately? I mean, it just sets up for, I guess, Wonder Woman to be bad A, but just blow it up. Like, just manual.
That bank scene, I got feeling where I'm like, did they even make their own thing with 1984? Because I know they got like super campy in the mall.
She needed that line that made no absolute sense when the little girl says, "Can I be like you?
Can I be like you someday?" And she says,
literally, physically impossible. No, absolutely not. There's no chance.
She lied to that child.
She lied to the child and said, "You can be anything you want." Yeah, I don't care for Gal Gadot. And she's like, "If there was no heaven."
No, dude.
Sing that song.
Dude, no. The freaking part when she's like fighting Steppenwolf and he's like, "Amazon, you're mine," and she's like, "I'm no one's." I'm like, oh, so cringe.
No, here's the thing. My favorite though about the whole women thing. I'm sorry, but I wrote it down here. Every single time that Wonder Woman did
theme
something, that I had subtitles. Yeah. This
the like
lamentation music. No, this is not me.
I'm honestly the only one that likes that. I actually it gave me chills.
No. Let me stop right there.
No,
I like
cool.
it. Yeah, it is cool. To me, it happened too much. Like, see, again, with the good shots and the beautiful shots, it's like, do it the one or two times where Wonder Woman really impresses you. It was like every time she said something or did something, it was like, like it just kept happening. Like,
well, I think they should have done they should have just done it in her.
Amazing. It's kind of like being force fed, you know. Like, and that's the thing that I had the gripe with when the Joker movie came around. When Joaquin Phoenix was dancing and the cello music came on, people were like, "Oh, I'm being force fed that this is a deep moment." And it's like, I have no problem with that. It happens once. Get over yourself. It happens once in the movie, maybe twice. And in this one, it's like the ancient. My subtitles call it ancient lamentation music. Lamentation comes on every single time she says something or does something.
It makes me think of two things, Ty. When every time she made an appearance, I was thinking of Hercules when, they're like, he's a god, and then he's like, wah! And he like squishes the guy's heads. And then I also think of the Lord of the Rings when he's like, I am one step further away. I watched a ton of that, and I was laughing hysterically.
Isn't it so great? Because there's scenes where Sam is sprinting, and you just see him take every step. So they play the whole scene.
But I keep thinking of that every time they play the song. It's just like, every time she makes an appearance, it starts to become comical at a certain point.
It does. And you watch it long enough, it becomes funny again, and then you hate it, and then it comes back to being funny.
Yeah, and then the other kind of sort of grab, we've already mentioned it a little, is like they put him in the water with a suit on, and then like a full regular like church suit or like wedding suit, and then my man comes out shirtless. I mean, okay, what? Like, I guess getting revived just rips off your shirt but keeps your pants on.
Yeah. Well, they had to have Henry Cavill. He didn't do all that workout for not cashing it in. They had to have the scene where he went shirtless. So one thing I thought was funny is...
Who would win in a fight, man? Henry Cavill or freaking Jason Momoa, dude? They're both ripped. Holy fudge.
So it went back and forth with the Amazonians. So like, okay, so one of my biggest gripes was at the very beginning with this flashback, they had like this scene where the Amazonians, they put it in this big, amazing temple shrine where they like had guards standing over it. Then the Atlanteans, they put it down in this underwater castle with like a big squid protecting it.
And then the people...
And then the men buried it in like a 6-foot shallow grave. They're like, somewhere in the forest, like, they couldn't give a budge. They're like, I can't be bothered with this. I can't be bothered with this. So they just buried it.
They're just like, hopefully no one goes digging around here with construction in the next 150
you know what
years.
I literally thought of? I thought of Jumanji, when at the very beginning with the two kids in the wagon, they buried the Jumanji board game, and he goes, what if someone digs it up? And he goes, God have mercy on their soul. And the freaking thunder strikes. Like, I was like, holy shit. Like, it made me think of that, where I'm like, someone's going to start digging for like a construction site, and the kid's going to find it, and then find the... Anyway, I just thought that was so funny, where it's like, we're all going to take it. And the men were like... There, shallow 6-foot grave. Genuine to dig up. I just thought that was so funny.
I thought the same thing.
I actually laughed out loud. So that was one that really made me laugh.
Another gripe I kind of had was just that's the only kind of problem with Flash is like his powers sometimes I feel like are kind of plot convenient, is because like, for example, when they're trying to get all those people out of the sewer or whatever, I'm like, can't he just run everyone up to the top and then you guys just fight Steppenwolf together? Like, what? I'm so confused.
He runs ahead of him and just yells at him annoyingly, and I'm like, Flash, you're better than this. You're better than this.
Can't we use your powers a little bit better? Like, come on. And then
okay.
No, you're good. Keep going.
Okay, so like, again, the mother boxes, I love the name, by the way. Mother boxes. Okay, my favorite thing is I could smell it on you. I keep quoting it because it makes me laugh, because, again, it's inexplicable, but it's one of those things where it's like, I know it's near, but he had the spider that could tell them, so I don't know why they added that little bit of trivia.
I love how he does.
Smell like.
I love how he did
fragrance.
I love how he didn't use it at first. He was like using it as a trump card. He's like trying to squeeze it out of him, and he's like, it doesn't matter if you tell me or not. I'm gonna get it out of you. I was like, why did you just toy with him then to like torture him, like to tell you?
Right. So one thing, like when they brought up the mother boxes, they had like this flashback where a bunch of Amazonians, Atlanteans, and human men or like godlike men were fighting
Darkseid.
What's his name? Darkseid. Was it Darkseid at the time?
Darkseid.
Okay, well, it was Darkseid and the other alien, though, too, right?
Steppenwolf was not there now.
Oh, he
but there was
wasn't
those
there.
three weird dudes, though.
You're right, yeah. There was like
boxes.
The priest guy, and all that. So there was that, but it was really funny because they took him out with like arrows and axes, right? So it's like, wouldn't we'd be better equipped in the present day to shoot him? But then again, it's like they're probably bulletproof. They show it like. Well, they only shoot Superman. I don't even know if Darkseid is technically...
No, but those people weren't... They didn't have swords and axes. They had, like, lightning coming out of it and stuff.
Yeah.
They were, like, all Thors.
Yeah, he was a Greek... I mean, my man was a
axes.
Greek god. I'm pretty sure it was, like, Hades that cut him and cut
Still
his shoulder.
arrows and axes is all I'm getting it. One thing, I really liked Flash. I thought it was funny that he like popped out of his shoes. I was like, that's kind of cool, and like going through the glass. I just thought it was a little weird that he like caressed her before he got her out of immediate peril. Like, I get that he had time, but he's like, oh, she's so beautiful, and she's like, I am in the act of dying. Like, and it's just like, grab me, put me down to safety, then you can do the cute exchange between the two of them. I don't know. That was just me.
No, dude, I loved it when Flash or when
you've been near the mother box. The set is on you.
No, when Bruce Wayne's like in his room or whatever, and he's like, it's quite the suit you got. He's like, oh yeah, I do like ice skating or whatever, and he's like, it's the same thing they use on the space shuttle so it doesn't burn up. It's very competitive ice skating.
Yeah, great. See, that I actually enjoyed that scene, and they actually, why they used that in the trailer, because they were like, that's the most charismatic scene in like the whole movie, which is unfortunate because I love meeting the Flash, and so funny when he's like, we're assembling it. Say no more, I'm in. Like, I thought that was so funny, and like it was a great scene. He's like, I don't have a lot of friends. He was great. I think the Flash was probably one of the best parts, and like without him,
easily.
I think this movie doesn't laugh once, but even in some of the moments where I'm like, oh, Flash, you're trying too hard, it's because, again, this movie's super dark and brooding, and they're like, why can't you make it a little fun? It's fine. Lean into what you're good at. Some movies that have no jokes are still good. Like,
I don't know, dude. I love the moment when he's talking, when he meets Wonder Woman.
Makes me laugh once, maybe twice.
When he meets Wonder Woman, she's like,
it's not a funny movie.
She's like, hey, Barry. She's like, I'm, what's her name? Diana. And he's like, hey, he's like, hey, Barry, I'm Diana. Wait, no, that's not right.
yeah. Hi, Barry, I'm Diana. Nope, that's not right.
Well, and Cameron was telling me too, because I loved when Batman reached out and grabbed the mouse at the same time as Wonder Woman. Cameron was telling me in the cartoon that they had a relationship, right?
Well, they have like
thing.
they hint at like a lot, and there's just like a lot of just like sexual tension and kind of chemistry between them.
They make out in a restaurant to avoid detection from the Hawkmen police, and then she says, "Sorry, Bruce," and he says, "Don't be."
Dude, Bruce has got game.
Well, she totally kissed him, and she apologized. So, hey, that's consent if I ever saw it. Okay, we've got another scene that really worried me. Yeah. Another thing that worried me was, well, it didn't worry me. So, really quick, I really like Cyborg. I liked his character. I thought, because again, I've never seen the Joss Whedon version of it.
No, Josh Whedon and him didn't get along, so he cut out most of his stuff. There's like barely any of it in.
That's so sad. So again, like the whole visuals of the football game, I just wanted to ask you, Cameron, being an actual football player, how likely is it that this star quarterback goes and, stiff arms 3 or 4 men?
Especially against a Wisconsin defense, that's less than a 15% chance that you're tripping. I think you're just running over everybody, and then hurtling like 9 feet in the air. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Again, so
there's Lamar Jackson over here.
Yeah, but again, the visuals, right? It was like the most beautiful thing. And okay, a really great scene was the mother's cheering, and then next to her, there's an empty seat, and then you see his reaction. He's no longer happy that he made the touchdown. It's really clever. I got it. There's not the father figure. The very next scene, without letting it breathe or making me piece it together on my own, or just not insulting my intelligence, they're like, your father, don't, Mom. Like, yeah, Mom, don't. I got it. The father's not there. Is there? Was he really upset because his dumb younger sister didn't show up to the game? Of course, it's his father. Okay, we get it. Like we've seen this trope before. Yeah, I watched the movie Hook. I know what it's like to not have a father. The only reason
I kind of get it a slight pass, Ty, is because it had to set up the car crash, which is kind of funny. They were talking about how many car crashes there are in the movie. he's like how Barry saves Iris from a car crash, and then how Cyborg's arc is with a car crash, and he's like, well, what about Aquaman? Well, it's a boat crash. It's a completely different mode of transportation.
I also liked where they're kind of getting into Cyborg and his backstory, where it was oh, he's in trouble at the principal's office. He's the star quarterback, but he's also a hacker, because it kind of goes into the whole Cyborg thing. But again, it's like oh, you hacked someone and gave him a good grade, and he goes, oh, my son helped him because they lost their house earlier this year. What are you doing for him? And I was like, oh, that's a good line, but it's still failing grade. I don't know why we always think that failing grades means that you hate people. It's it just means that maybe we need to put more attention. Anyway, whatever. I love how we villainize and demonize principals and teachers because of failing grades. We're you're a bad person if you give a failing grade. It's maybe you care enough about the person, not send him out in the world and be 2 + 2 doesn't equal 17. It's I care about you. I don't want you to fail in the real world. If you go out there, you're going to get fired. You're going to show up to work late. You're going to do all these things. You're not going to have a successful life. And that just bothered me anyway. So anyway, they're demonizing the principal. They're oh, this he wanted to fail the student because she lost her home. It's what a terrible thing. But it doesn't mean that she gets the passing grade. I'm sorry. I know that comes off as super uncaring, but
one gripe that I had was they tried too hard to make their one-liners land and
oh my gosh, Grant, I have all of them written down. I don't believe it. Believe it. And then
Ty, I love it when they're when Barry makes the most valid point, and he's well, hasn't Steppenwolf already fought thousands of other planets and conquered all of them or whatever? And then he's well, he's never fought us. United. I was
United. I honestly thought I was watching a commercial or an advertisement. United Airlines. United Airlines. Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. I literally, it took me out of the moment. Took me out of the movie too, in fact.
Yeah.
So I like it too. Okay, mind you, there's a scene where Cyborg, I really like his character and everything. And so he's well, he gets hit by the car, right? And then his dad has to save him. So I was do you just get superhuman strength if you get hit by a car in this universe? Like everyone that has a car accident becomes a superhero.
Yeah.
Doesn't
or
matter.
If you fall
But I
in a
was
pit of
just
acid, then you'll become a superhero. Like nothing bad happens.
yeah, right. So mind you, the dad reconstructs his son and makes him the most bad superhero cyborg man of all time. And he's like,
alien
you gave me
technology,
superhuman strength, flight. Thanks, Dad. That makes up for all the football games you never came to. Seriously, like, why not? You have the gift of flight. Are you kidding me? My dad's never done anything that amazing. I hate you, Dad. Where were you my entire childhood? So, okay. Not only that, not the gift of flight, the nuclear launch codes. Okay, does someone sign up on that? Is that okay? A brooding teenager with going through all what he's going through.
Yeah.
Here's some nuclear launch codes.
And you have
can end it
access
all.
to all and any money in the world.
Yeah. So the brooding teenager, it's like, wow, a great perk, Dad. And then the lady that like he's like spying on people, right? Again, I'm like, oh, this is super creepy. Like he's like, I can watch anyone, and then like not only watch the people, it's like, what camera angle is that? Like, are you just omnisciently following him around? Like, I think we're supposed to understand using technology, but it's like that apartment didn't have 3 camera angles on her freaking door. I promise you, no apartment complex has 3 camera angles on one person's door. But you have to get the motion where she sees that she's being evicted and she's sad because she can't afford it. And then she goes up to the ATM and it's like, you won. The bank's giving you $100,000. And she's like, oh my gosh, I have $100,000. Oh. It's like, wouldn't you think that's a big scam? I would be terrified. If I woke up and I had $100,000, I'd probably question it, one. No, I wouldn't give the money back, but I'd be like, I'm being pranked here.
I
Like,
didn't like how
miracle.
at the end he just like conveniently has the power to just like undo a crushed cassette tape. I'm like, what the fudge? I don't care.
Cameron,
I don't care
not going
what
to
type of
lie.
cyborg you are. That you can do that.
Cameron, I wrote this down. I literally wrote, so I was literally typing this note saying, wouldn't it be so funny if he crushed the tape recorder? And he literally did it. I literally burst out laughing. Like, I was like, wouldn't it be so funny if he crushed it? And then he literally did it. I was like, duh. Like, so that must mean it was a cliche. But yes, at the very end, he undoes what he does. And then, like, here's his dad, and he gives this amazing speech at the end. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But, okay, one other thing. So I don't know what your abilities are, but I'm going to throw a batarang at your head, which is essentially a sharpened blade at your head, and figure out what your powers are. It's like, Dad just tried an attempted murder on poor Barry, okay? He tried to kill him, and he's like, oh, so you're fast. It's like, what if he got stabbed in the head and he just laid on the floor and he's like, oh, I guess he was just a computer programmer. I guess he was just really smart. Like, I get that he kind of knew from the convenience store that maybe he was fast. It was just funny when he's like, I'm not sure what you are. And then proceeds to throw a blade at him. Like, did he try throwing a blade at Aquaman? No, he just simply talked to him. You know, he's like, I'm looking for it. And he's like, attempted murder. It's just a different approach. I don't know. So just a nitpick, I guess, there. So, and then one thing I thought was really funny, there was actually a really funny line where the Asian guy, I don't know him. He's just the Asian guy that runs the whole show. And he's like, what you're looking at is the hottest thing on earth. Same thing I told my prom date, and she still dumped me anyway.
That fell flat
so
for
funny.
me. I thought that was so dumb.
It did, but at the end, I'm like, look at me now. I'm an underground scientist, baby. He's probably, I wish he would have had that moment. See, I wish they would have taken a step further, Cameron, because you're right. That's what my mind went. I filled in the gap where I'm like, they're missing a joke here, but that's okay. Like, because he said the thing, and it's like, oh, get it, because his prom date left him. And I'm like, but you're still like, you're kick scientist now. Like, what if your date could see you now? I wish he would have made that joke, because it's like, so am I to understand you're still a loser? Like, see, that's where my mind goes, Cameron. I totally agree with you, dude. So, look at me now, baby. That's what I wrote down. If you could get the mother boxes, if you can get into the mother boxes, they will exploit your weaknesses and fears. And I just put, of course they will. Like, I don't know why. It just kind of upset me where it's like, if you hack into them, they're going to show you your worst fears or your biggest temptation. I'm like, why not? But again, it was totally fine. He gets there, really weird scene where he's like talking to his mom and dad, and they're like, look at yourself, creepy. It reminded me of the movie Us, Jordan, from Jordan Peele. Do you remember that? The doppelganger movie? It reminded me a lot of that vibe where he's standing there with his family and he's like, yeah, my life's great. It's like, no, it's not. And then,
that mother box scene reminded me of Harry Potter, how like the Horcrux like
Yes,
portrays,
yeah,
like,
a lot of
Ron's
Harry
deepest
Potter
fear,
vibes,
and
a
he
lot
has,
of
like,
the whole.
Like it's cool. Like he has to get through it, but like yeah.
I did like though the fact that he came to terms with that he wasn't broken anymore though. That's kind of what was my
Yes.
favorite part about that was
No,
that
it
he
was a
like
good character
was
arc. That's what I
content
really
with
liked.
being cyborg.
For sure, good character arc, and so it's just a little weird though. Like, I don't know what he was separating, like those three heads or whatever. The really creepy. Like, I don't know what that was about. It was like, it's like, jeez, like it freaked me out. Like, I guess it was the evil in the mother boxes, whatever.
Okay, but
Doesn't
talk
matter.
about a dope way to kill Steppenwolf, dude. Fetching Aquaman just stabs right through him, and then they just freaking
Awesome,
launch him
yeah.
back, and then Wonder Woman just says adios with your head, and Darkseid crushes his skull. I was like, dang, boy.
Yeah, pretty dark and yeah, very violent for a. I guess they made this one rated R, right? I don't know. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it
it's
had
R.
to have been. There's 3.
Yeah, the one thing I thought was kind of funny
Lots of
though
gore.
was how like Wonder Woman did her like threw up the bomb to not explode the building, and yet she explodes the building to murder the guy. I was like, wait, what? I was like, where
She
was it?
explodes the building to murder what guy?
The last guy, when she hits her like wrists together. What?
Wait, she exploded the.
Yeah, when he kills the terrorist,
Well, she doesn't blow up a building.
she blows out the side of the building,
She
dude.
does like her like cross.
When right before the girl says,
And anyways, it
No, see, here's the thing. Like, I do remember the bank scene. I just
right
don't remember
before
her
the girl
crushing
says,
himself.
can I be like you someday?
She blows the guy to smithereens.
She blows the guy in half. The hat falls out the building, and then like the guy is absolutely obliterated, and the like that whole entire wall is destroyed.
I don't remember that, but I mean, all they care about, they don't care about property damage, Cameron, because the rich bank owners, they've got insurance. Okay. It's just people's lives, right? So she went through the hole in the roof to throw it out of the way of harming people.
I'm talking. No, never mind.
just watch that. What was that YouTube video? You're quoting it from the YouTube video.
What? No.
Anyways,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, well, send me that YouTube video.
I will.
So-
It's called the pitch meeting for
Any-
Zack
Oh, okay.
Snyder. It's just funny.
Oh, maybe it was just.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to check that one out. And then lastly, it made me think of box elder bugs that I used to torture and rip the antennas off when he got one of his antennas cut off. Poor box elder man. What's his name? Kilder man. Fox Kilder. What's his name? I always forget. Deathstroke. Steppenwolf.
Fox
Poor Steppenwolf. When he loses one of his antennae, it was so sad. I actually cared about him.
His horns, you mean?
Wait, antenna, horn, whatever. It just made me think of all those box elder bugs I used to torture as a kid. I'd find these bugs and then I'd peel off their antennas. Like, I tortured insects. I didn't know. I was like, oh, you need a haircut.
Jordan, don't give
you know,
that
and I'd
look.
rip
You used
them
to
off.
put soap on ants, dude. You're just a sick buddy.
They needed a bath.
Jordan sounds like a serial killer. I used to torture animals. No big deal. I don't want to get into it right now. So, yeah, those were some of the things. And lastly, quick questions. Like, at the very end, can't go without mentioning Jared Leto. I just have so many questions.
You've already talked about him, though.
I know.
enough.
I just want to say though, like, do you guys, like I said, do you care? Like, what are you most excited, looking forward to in the next movie? That's all I wanted to ask. I have to ask that because to me, it's like, I don't want to see Jared Leto in any more movies, but I do want to see Aquaman and Flash.
I
They're
really
my
want.
favorite
revamping
parts.
Batman, though, aren't they?
What?
They're revamping Batman, so
Yeah,
he'll be gone.
Yeah, and
Robert Pattinson?
supposedly
Is it gonna
Ben
be Robert
Affleck has
Pattinson
said,
coming in then?
supposedly Ben Affleck has said that he doesn't want to do any more Batman, and then I'm really excited to see that where they go with Martian Manhunter because I really want to see him in his natural alien form.
For sure. Martian Manhunter is always a cool one. Excellent. What about you, Jordan? Do you have anyone that you're looking forward to or any movie that you're like, oh, they got to do this?
I just recommend this
Story.
movie, and after I watched this, I like Cameron texted us. He said it made him feel like a kid again. Totally made me feel like a kid again.
For sure. It's definitely nostalgic and it's very childish, yeah. But I do recommend it, I think. I do recommend it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I recommend if you have the time of day for 4 hours to watch a movie,
Yeah.
then you'll enjoy it.
Well, and if you're a superhero fan.
If you like superhero movies, if you don't like superhero movies, you're not going to enjoy this movie. It's going to be a waste of your
But yeah, but I really want to see some kind of Deathstroke movie or
Yeah.
something because like honestly that was the coolest like rendition of like the suit of Deathstroke that I've ever seen. It looks so
Grant, I
awesome.
love you because you were the one that brought
Dude,
up
I am all
Mandalorian
visuals,
suit.
dude.
Yeah, you're all about those perks, those skin, the skin that
Customization
the
of
characters are
the
in.
characters,
I love
yeah,
it.
dude. Oh, it looks so.
So you like
freaking awesome.
Superman switching into the gray?
I mean, it looked cool.
black, you mean?
Yeah, the black
Look great to
suit.
me.
Yeah, it was Black Jordan.
Yeah.
Guys, I enjoyed my time. This movie, holy cow, took up my entire week, it seems. But
It's a long movie, goodness.
oh, and there was no Green Lantern, which is a shame. But it was at the beginning.
If they need to do Jon Stewart, and they either have Jamie Foxx or Michael B. Jordan.
Oh,
that'd be super
I
good.
would sign up to that movie right there. And what's so funny about that too was the scene where, like, there's a Green Lantern guy in the flashback, and he gets killed, and the ring like pops up, and it almost looks like Steppenwolf is reaching for it, and the ring's like, maybe he's a worthy person. Like, the ring just hangs there, and I'm like,
It
get
does.
the fudge out of there, find the next person that's worthy for it, you freak. Like the ring's like, okay, I guess I'll go with this horny-headed freak.
I know it like
The ring's
hesitates
supposed
until
to-
he gets hit, and then it like flies off.
Yeah, and then when he gets hit, he's like, "Oh, you're not worthy. What am I talking about? I'm getting the freak out of here. I'm gonna go find Hal Jordan. I'm gonna go find Ryan Reynolds."
The ring was in a trance, dude.
Yeah, dude, the ring was
Well,
tempted.
I was wondering, does the ring not go to somebody that like it like overpowers another person if they destroy them?
I don't know. It's I feel, what's it called the Green Lantern Corps.
no,
Is like
it's Jordan. If
very
you kill the person
strange.
with the ring, you don't get it. No.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
usually what it is like that because that's what in the TV show they talk about. There's like these like quorum of like elders, and they like decide who it is.
Oh, I don't know.
Like you have to be
Yeah,
decided.
and the ring will find a subject that's worthy, that's pure in heart, and all that stuff. But if you use the yellow ring, you're just giving into fear.
Yeah, or dude, no, they did. If they do make the movie with Michael B. Jordan or what's it called with Jon Stewart or Jamie Foxx, dude, they need to do Atrocitus as the bad guy. He's he's so dope.
Who the bad guy?
Atrocitus, look up Atrocitus, Green Lantern.
I thought you were gonna say Zod. Zod was pretty scary. He was pretty awesome too. Most terrifying thing, real quick, guys. I just to throw back into the cartoon. There's a scene where there's like an alien, and it plays like your biggest, wildest fantasies, and then they get it on Zod, and so he's standing there and he's drooling, and he's like, you start. The camera zooms in on him, and then you hear his inside of his mind. You just hear like people being whipped and burned and like screaming and crying. It's like. That's his fantasy. So I just want you to think about that for a second. Which is funny because Zod was totally in Superman, Man of Steel, I just realized, right? Or is that a different Zod? I think it was Zod. Different guy. But anyway, the way they had him in the cartoon, his biggest fantasy, I just want you to think about that before you go to sleep tonight, is Zod's fantasy. They played a little bit of the audio. It's just like people burning in hell. Okay? Terrifying. That's his dream come true. All right, folks. Thanks for writing in, or leave us a 5-star review. Leave us an email, futuromovies@gmail.com. We sure love you guys listening. Share us to your friends and family. And do we have any time, real quick, do you want to say what you've watched lately, just very briefly? I've been watching Workaholics. Please watch Workaholics, guys. Start an episode or two tonight, please, while you guys are together, because you guys will like it so much more. Workaholics is so funny. Watch those first 2-3 episodes, and you'll be hooked. I can't stop watching. I'm in season 2 already, so definitely.
Trailer Park Boys is better.
Well, you haven't watched Workaholics yet, so you need to give
I've
it a
watched
shot.
a few episodes, and parts of episodes, and it's just not that funny to me.
Okay,
Please watch it, please.
we watched what's it called. Grant will talk about. We watched Saving Private Ryan as a apartment. Same with A Beautiful Mind. Both freaking fantastic
cow.
movies. I just watched Boondock Saints with Jordan today.
Grant, I'm so sorry. We ruined war movies for you now. Would you, or maybe you don't. Maybe because you've seen Hacksaw Ridge, you're like, I like Hacksaw better. What do you think about Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah, so like, well, it's funny. So I missed the first opening scene, the first 20 minutes.
why did you miss it?
Well, no.
You
Why did
missed-
I miss it?
you
No.
missed D-Day? Are you kidding me?
Just
Why did you
wait.
miss it, Grant?
Doesn't matter. Okay,
He
so
was talking to Elise.
yes, I was talking.
He's in
to-
love.
So I missed the first 20 minutes. So I watched the whole movie after that, and then I went back and rewatched the first scene.
Oh my gosh.
And so, because I literally came in when like the whole beach scene like just finished, and so it was like a great movie. And then I rewatched like the first 20 minutes, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, it's so sad though, and like disheartening though.
Oh yeah. You want to talk about
it's a raw
harrowing?
movie.
That is the
Yeah.
craziest
Yeah.
opener to a movie I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Just them freaking riding on that ship over there while some of the guys are like freaking out, having a panic attack. Some guy throws up. Like, I can't think of a single opening movie. And again, like I said, other movies have attempted this, and I've mentioned that many, many times. But like exposing you to that, just no holds barred. Like veterans coming out after saying, yeah. pretty much just as messed up as the stuff I saw on War. And it's like,
well, a lot of them walked out at the opening day viewing because they said it was too traumatic and like it reminded them too much of War.
Right. Bless their hearts. Yeah, you don't want to relive it. I mean, it immerses you. And I'm like a viewer, and I've never seen War, and I'm like, I feel like I know what it's like, and that sounds so ignorant and terrible of me to say, but yeah.
Yeah, and
I'm thankful for our troops, which is why we totally will review one day. Thank you for your service with Miles Teller.
And then I watched Midnight in Paris is very depressing. It's sad to see Rachel McAdams be in a role where she's like super rude and snotty and a rich girl, which apparently she's like the meanest girl in Mean Girls apparently. But
wow.
And then Owen
Wilson.
Blade Runner 2049 was one of the trippiest movies I've ever seen. It's in my top 25. Yeah. The visuals in it are ridiculous. Ryan Gosling's in a very like underrated, like serious actor, like dramatic actor.
Would we do Prisoners before we did Blade Runner 2049? Or I want to watch Prisoners again, honestly. I'm just itching to see it because I've seen Blade Runner since or more recent. So
we're doing Prisoners at Halloween. So,
but yeah, Blade Runner 2049 has one of the best soundtracks of all time.
Halloween, that's so fetching far away. I'll probably choose Prisoners before then.
I have a lot of movies because I haven't been on the pod in a minute, so I'll just go quickly over them. So,
let's hear 'em, yeah.
Rewatched Truman Show, super good. Watched Looper, that was a trippy show. And then Remember the Titans, such a feel-good movie. I love that one. Act of Valor, super patriotic, really good.
Oh, Act of Valor was another good one, war movie wise. That opening scene where they rescue that lady from or was that at the end? I'm trying to remember. Yeah,
that's in the beginning when they snipe the guy and they catch him before he falls in the water.
Yeah, it's so freaking dope.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's dope. Like you're like, holy crap! I have so much respect for those men.
Wildlife, I really, really enjoyed that movie. That's directed by Paul Dano. Super
I need
good.
to see that one for sure. I need to write that down.
Good. Definitely recommend it. Watched most of The Accountant. That was really fun to watch. Like Ben Affleck just be super awesome.
I'm rich.
And then, I watched No Country for Old Men. Boo! I did not like that movie.
No. You didn't understand it, but that's okay.
That's
okay. You didn't understand it. Grant, I didn't like it my first watching either. You need to like watch some video essays on it.
Grant's just uneducated.
I guess. And then I watched The Gentleman. That was super funny.
So funny.
Really good. Hot Fuzz. That was really fun. And then
you've already mentioned.
Yeah, I mentioned all those. So.
Oh wait, I didn't hear you. What did you thought about Wedding Crashers?
Oh yeah, I forgot. I really enjoyed Wedding Crashers. Wedding Crashers, some really unnecessary nudity. But besides that, I've never laughed out loud so much in a movie in a long time. I was laughing out loud a lot. It's really, really funny.
Excellent. So yeah, other than Workaholics, I haven't watched too much. Really, honestly, I think I shared last time what I watched, and unfortunately, I lost my list of movies that I watched this year. But from what I can remember, I pretty much already mentioned all of them on the podcast because I just watched Nacho and Snyder Cut. That was pretty much all I could get in this week.
That's all I could get through, dude. My whole Sunday. Oh, I did watch one movie. It's called Next Level, and it's got Mel Gibson and the guy from the Purge, the second Purge movie. I forget his name. Anyways, it's what's that movie you like with Andy Samberg? Groundhog Day. Palm Springs, yeah. So Palm Springs, Palm Springs, the day, Happy Death Day 1 and 2, and Groundhog Day. This movie is essentially another one of those movies.
Oh yeah, what was the one we watched?
It's Ground Level. It's pretty good. It's all right.
What was the one we watched?
Groundhog Day is better, and Happy Death Day is better.
The map of tiny perfect things.
Yeah, that was a super good one. I forgot about that one.
Final thoughts, Ty, before we go? Anything else? Good.
Just Snyder Cut, man. I just love it. Every time she did something, she could fart, and the ancient Lamentation movie music would come on. Yeah.
And then it would be fun. Swiss Army Man 2, all girls cast.
Swiss Army Man 2.
Isn't that what he does? He makes farts look beautiful.
Yeah, he makes them look beautiful. Sure does. First fart makes you cry. First fart makes you laugh. Last fart makes you cry. All right. So leave us a review. I think we might have already done this, but yeah, leave us a review. futromovies@gmail.com. An email. Leave a comment. Share us to your friends and family. Take it easy, guys. This is Futro Hidden Movie Gems signing out with a little bit of love. Peace.
Martha. Justice has been served.
My world, mother boxers. And then what about his minion guy? This is Futuro Hidden Movie Gem signing out. Peace.